Hey everybody, welcome into this episode of the Ball Down Podcast. I am glad to be here with you today. When I did this for the J-Man show, I looked incredibly tan last week, and I looked like I had bulging biceps from this angle. So you know what? I wanted to increase my confidence and, do it again. And also, maybe bring a little laughter into your life, or maybe embarrass myself even more. Who really cares? On this episode, we are going to be doing our world-renowned Circle the Bases, where we get you caught up on everything happening from around Major League Baseball. And we'll also do our Series of the Week between two teams atop their divisions right now, while one team's not quite there, but we'll get into that just a little bit later on. Let's start with our world-renowned Circle the Bases, get you caught up on everything happening in the world of Major League Baseball. We start at first base. We'll get you caught up on the divisions in Major League Baseball, starting with the American League East, where it's the Red Sox holding a half-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. And yikes, who would have thought the Yankees were sitting in third place over 4 games back right now as we are in the middle of June? It would really suck to be a Yankees fan. In the American League Central, it is the Chicago White Sox. They're holding a 2.5-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. And out west, it's a battle between two teams right now. It's the Saved by the Bell Oakland A's against the Houston Cheater Astros. They're both tied atop the West right now. In the National League East we go. It is the Mets holding a 4-game lead over the Phillies. Braves just have not really gotten going. In the Central Division, it's the Cubs and the Brewers tied atop that division. Again, one time the Cardinals had the best record in the National League. They now sit third in the Central. And out west, look, you'll still find the 3 best records in the National League in the Western Division. It's still the surprising Giants holding a 1-game lead now over the now Dodgers and a 5-game lead over the Padres, who have just kind of started to do one of these at, kind of the right time. It's still pretty early. To second we go. Major League Baseball announced some rule changes, some policy changes when it comes to substances used by pitchers, which has not gotten a favorable response thus far. As per the release, it says that a pitcher may not apply any foreign substance of any kind to the ball, even to their arm. They can only use rosin on their throwing arm. Umpires can go out and check for any of these foreign substances at any point during the game. Also, pitchers have to wear certain colored gloves. They can't wear white gloves. They can't wear those kind of tan gloves because, you could taint the ball that way. To third base we go. It's time for our AL Player of the Week and our NL Player of the Week. In the American League, it's pretty easy. It's Shohei Ohtani. He's done it both on the mound and at the plate this past week, especially this past weekend against this team right here. And in the National League, it was Nats slugger Kyle Schwarber. He had a very impressive week this past week. As I take you home, if you didn't know, this past weekend was Father's Day, and if you don't know what Father's Day is, it's like Mother's Day, except not as well advertised. It was a great weekend to remind ourselves of the great father-son duos across Major League Baseball history, like the Griffeys, the Bonds, even the Guerreros now. Also, even like Shohei Ohtani, kind of being the dad to the Detroit Tigers. Don't know how much I like that joke being in there. And that was Circle the Bases, getting you caught up on everything around Major League Baseball. Circle the Bases brought to you by J-Man Sports, any and all things sports. All right, time for a Series of the Week. And this week, I think it's a pretty intriguing matchup. It's the Chicago Cubs visiting the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers, like I mentioned before, are 1 game back in the National League West. They've started to play better. They're kind of starting to get a little bit more healthy. And the Cubs are kind of doing this out of nowhere, I thought. The Cubs pitching still isn't great in my mind, but they're pitching better than what I've thought, and their lineup has come alive. Their big guns, Contreras, Rizzo, Bryant, and Javier Baez, have all contributed to massive amounts for the Chicago Cubs, and it's why really they're sitting at the top of the National League Central right now. It's going to be a 4-game series in LA at Chavez Ravine. I think this is a must-watch series. I really do. I think it's really to gauge where the Cubs are at if you are a Chicago Cubs fan, because they are facing the defending champs. They are facing what I still think is the best team in the National League, though the record, they're still behind their rivals, the San Francisco Giants. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast. And don't worry, you definitely will be seeing me, my tan self, and my bulging biceps soon.